and I want to introduce a special guest. With us tonight, we have the Mayor of Windsor, Mr. Drew Dilkens.
Well, thanks. Do you want me to take it over, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and members of administration and members of the board. And thanks for this opportunity. This may seem a little clumsy in terms of the presentation because I have nothing scripted, which is by design. But also, you may have seen over the course of the last few months, me giving some awards related to COVID to other people in the community, including Patty France, who's on this call here today. And I was trying to find the sweet spot of not trying to make it look like I was using these awards for the purposes of, getting attention before an election, but really trying not to let the whole COVID situation and the urgency that we all found ourselves in for 2.5 years sort of evaporate, and the awards not seeming contemporaneous to the actual event. And so I recognize that we are at a point where others have received this award, and I will just say that I'm right near the tail end, and this is really, I would say, among the best for last with these awards here from my perception and perspective here today. And all of you who serve as board members, all of you who live in this community understand the impact of what we've lived through collectively with respect to the pandemic and the impact that it's had, not just on the organization that you govern, but on the community as a whole. And I can tell you that it is amongst the most difficult periods of time that I can recall in the city's history, with the complexity of the issues and trying to serve all the various needs that were out there. And it was always imperfect. You could never hit the mark 100%. And you were often left just trying to do what was best with the information you had and get to the next day. And I remember from day one, the communication with Windsor Regional Hospital, and every day, multiple times from the start of the pandemic until almost this day. And so it was really important for me as mayor to recognize those who I felt really made a significant contribution. And I can tell you at the very beginning of the pandemic, probably like you, I thought this was going to go on for a couple weeks or 3 or 4 weeks, and we'd be back to normal. And we know how that played out. And so as people started responding, some with time, some with money, we started keeping a little list. And very quickly after the first month, it was impossible to keep a list of everyone who was doing good things in the community because there was literally so many good things happening. And we put out a call to the community and we said, who are our COVID community champions? I have my list of people that I interacted with and that the public certainly knows the work that they've done, but who else is out there? We had over 500 submissions from members of the community with almost every story imaginable. And we gave out over 200 awards from that pool of folks, everyone from, when we had no PPE, people who were knitting masks and making masks, to everything in between, the kids selling lemonade to donate and buy food for healthcare workers who were isolating at a hotel, every story in between. And so tonight there were folks who, really the contribution was above and beyond. It was impactful. It made a difference. It was crucial. It was important. And I wanted to be here tonight to recognize the whole organization, but certainly a few key individuals as well. And first off, I would acknowledge Karen Riddell and thank Karen Riddell for all that she did, the work on the mass vaccination site and everything in between. Karen, I won't go through the litany of things that you had to deal with, but I want you to know that they, from my humble perch, they are truly appreciated and acknowledged. All of the things that I saw were absolutely incredible, and you are very deserving of this award. And on behalf of the city, it really gives me great pleasure to present this to you in a virtual environment and acknowledge the work that you've done. Also, Dr. Wasim Saad, and we heard Wasim on the radio so many times, providing confidence and guidance to people who were uncertain. We didn't know what we didn't know in this pandemic. And so the work and trying to pull together the medical teams and the staff and deal with the complexities internally that you had to deal with, again, absolutely remarkable. I'm not sure if Wasim's on the call, but I wanted to acknowledge him and thank him for his contribution as well. And then the person that I worked with the most, again, each and every day, multiple times, trying to solve some of these complex situations and make sure that we were working in harmony and as simpatico as we could, was David Mouche. And you really have a true champion there inside the organization who delivers. We saw David wearing scrubs and, up at 5 o'clock in the morning on the radio and on Zoom calls at 10 o'clock at night, dealing with issues that played out and everything in between, and trying to, again, manage the changing environment that was in front of him, trying to procure PPE from China when the entire world was descending on China, trying to find PPE to keep their operations going. And then dealing with the execution of the mass vaccination program, which is something everyone was waiting for in this community, really was executed flawlessly by David and the entire team. But it takes a leader to bring everyone together and make sure that everyone's rowing in the right direction. And David, I really want to acknowledge you and this contribution and the work that you've done. It really was remarkable. There you are. I have to scroll. I only have 5 or 6 of you at the top of my screen. So I want to acknowledge David for his amazing work. And all of us can work very, very hard and give it our all for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is. But this is a person who gave his all for over 2 years. And that takes a toll. Look what happened to me. And David, at least you kept your hair. That was good. And so, David, on behalf of the city, on behalf of City Council, I wanted to give you this COVID key to the city that acknowledges your leadership at certainly the most trying time in our city's history in my life. And thank you for all of the work that you did and acknowledge that formally in this environment. And there is one frame that is not in this picture. David, can I mention that one too?
Sure.
So there's one frame. This is nicely framed. It looks beautiful on the screen, but there is one award in here as well that I wanted to make sure and Dave and I talked about this, is making sure that we acknowledge the entire team at Windsor Regional Hospital. So there is a separate award for all of those healthcare heroes who came to work every day, didn't know what they were doing when they went home. Again, the uncertainty involved in what they had to do, and talk about intensity. People who had to work with no, it was relentless, no end in sight, who kept coming back day after day, dealing with the challenges that this pandemic threw in front of them. So I hope the frame, David, finds a real place of high profile at Windsor Regional Hospital. So all the men and women who work at Windsor Regional Hospital know that their city, that their mayor, that their city council, that their entire community values their contribution and is appreciative of the contribution that they made during a very difficult time. So members of the board and of the administration who are here, thank you for the time to join you today. I wish we could do this in person. It may be a little more personal had we done that, but I didn't want to leave the time. I didn't want time to get past us here. I wanted to make sure we get these out and acknowledge those who made a significant contribution. And you have many champions in your community who have done that. And I am very, very grateful, as you are as well. So thank you for the time today, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I just want to give Karen Riddell, Dr. Saad, and David a chance to respond, but we'll go to Karen first. Karen?
Thanks, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mayor Dilkens and the City Council. On a personal note, it's definitely been an honor and a privilege to serve our community over the last couple of years, and definitely for the last, at least 22 years that I've been in this community, working in our healthcare community. But we couldn't have done it without everybody at the city, with all of our community partners, and definitely with all of our team members and the support of our board at the hospital. So thank you on behalf of the entire team and all of our providers that we worked with over the last 2 years and going into our third. So thank you.
Dr. Saad?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Drew and the City of Windsor. It's a tremendous honor I'm humbled by it, and I don't know how to respond exactly when you're presented with an award like this, other than to say, as Karen mentioned, this is not an individual award as far as I see it. I'm certainly going to be accepting this on behalf of our entire professional staff, who did step up during the pandemic in times of uncertainty, picked up extra call, went in and saw those patients when we knew very little about the virus, and kept the inpatient units running and the vaccination clinics running. And it was certainly a team effort. So the recognition and award is obviously appreciated, and it's a true honor. But I will certainly be sharing this with the entire professional staff who also deserve it. So thank you very much.
I see David unmuted already. He's ready.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mayor Dilkens. Just without repeating everything that Karen and Dr. Saad stated, even when I indicated to them something like this was coming, we all hesitated greatly, because we wanted to make sure the only thing we're doing is accepting this award on behalf of the organization. And even though I know you're limited in how you can give these awards, you have to put a name on them. But we greatly appreciate that. But clearly, this was not a 1-person, 2-person, 3-person activity. It took thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of individuals across Windsor, Essex to pull this off. And, you were wondering about timing. The unfortunate part is we're still in the pandemic. So the timing will never end. It doesn't want to go away. So you're well within the limits of giving these awards in the midst of the pandemic, because we're still in it. But again, just on behalf of Windsor Regional Hospital, I want to thank you for this recognition for all our team members. It's greatly appreciated, and I couldn't be prouder of the staff at Windsor Regional Hospital. They make me proud on a daily basis. So thank you.
I guess I'll follow that up. I can't be more proud, and I will speak for the whole board. I assume nobody's going to have any issues with this. Honestly, it is incredible what these 3 individuals have done, and the whole team has done over the past almost 3 years now. Every day I commend whoever I'm talking to with regards to the hospital. Every single individual there is put in the time and effort to make our community a little bit safer and a little bit healthier. So on behalf of the board, thank you and congratulations to everybody who earned this award, deserves this award. Thank you to the city of Windsor. Really, it means a lot to us, the board, to see the great people of Windsor Regional Hospital being recognized. So thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for all that you do on the board and the administrative staff as well. It's may not see everyone every day, but the whole team works very, very efficiently, and certainly the community acknowledges that, and I thank you very much.